Hello and welcome to another episode of Next Week in Gaming. Next week is our August Week 1 episode. As usual, we'll be covering game releases, early access releases, giveaways, sales, interviews, all that kind of stuff. This week's going to be a little bit shorter than usual because there's not actually been that much going on. So first up we have a sale, and that is the Humble Jumbo Bundle 4, and the Jumbo Bundles are arguably some of the best sales on Humble Bundle ever, and there's good reason for that, and this one includes a game called Endless Space, which is part of one of my all-time favourite series of games, including Endless Legend and Dungeon of the Endless. If you don't have that game, this bundle is worth it entirely for that game alone. On the top $18 bracket mark, you'll unlock Space Engineers, which I personally have clocked in almost 100 hours since it came out in early access last year. It's a game by Keen, and you can build things in a almost proper Newtonian travel in space, and also grind people to pieces if that takes your fancy. Also in the bundle is Mercenary Kings and Fallen Enchantress, and Stanley Parable, which is one of those games that probably won't ever come around again, and halfway through the game you'll wonder why you're playing it and carry on playing it regardless. Lastly, there's a game called Screen Cheat, which is ideal for people who have friends around. It's very much a Steam Machine party game. Go around shooting people, you can't see each other, but you can look at their screen. So all in all, it's actually a pretty great bundle. I've already picked it up regardless of all the games that I already own, just because it's great value for money, and of course it's going to Save the Children charity. So first up on our release schedule, and second to last, is a game called Submerge by Uppercut Games. This is coming out next week on Tuesday the 4th of August, and it's generally a exploration game focusing heavily on zero combat. So there'll be no combat, and it's set in a dystopian future, but not quite as doom and gloom as you might think. As you can tell by the title, everything will be submerged in water, so it's sort of a post-apocalyptic future, but the environments are actually quite pretty, so it's not as scary as you might think it would be. The general idea is that you go around scavenging supplies to survive and to help your brother, but also uncover hidden secrets so you can unfold the story and unfold how the city got like it did. Finally, on the release schedule for next week is a game called Ravenmark, Scourge of a Stallion. This is a game being developed by Witching Hour Studios, and it's being brought to us by Slitherine Limited, who are the same people who brought us Warhammer 40k Armageddon, and a hell of a lot of other war games. Now, this and all the other games that Slitherine have published are much closer to tabletop war games than your generic PC turn-based strategy, so there's going to be a hell of a lot of in-depth information in this game. It's so in-depth, in fact, it comes with its own codex, so you're going to need to read through that codex in order to be able to learn how to play on the battlefield. This game is going to have a lot of different maps. I've seen some maps where you'll be against armies that are literally on a vertical face, so it's quite varied. There's a full single player campaign, and also there's something called a Wego system, which means that both your and the enemy's turn resolve at the same time, so you'll have to guess what the enemy's doing as opposed to reacting to it, and whatever you both choose happens at the same time. This is going to be just as complex as a tabletop game, maybe not quite as complex as some, but it's going to require a hell of a lot of time investment and a lot of learning. But for those of you who have been longing for a lot of tabletop war games to come to PC, this is probably definitely a game you want to take a look at. Finally, it's our review title for next week. This will be published on Thursday the 6th of August, and it's Kin. This is by Tangerine Entertainment and published by Versus Evil, the same people who've been dropping titles left, right and centre these last few weeks. This is a hybrid between a hack and slash and a strategy team dungeon crawler. You'll control up to 6 heroes, and besides the fact that you'll be able to mash things with your mouse, you'll also be able to strategically play out battles with the slow motion feature. So this means that if an enemy is particularly well shielded, you'll be able to distract them and then flank them with other characters, lay traps, and just make some very strategic moves, or roguelike moves if you will. This game kind of reminds me quite a bit of Legends of Arana, the Dungeon Siege expansion, as well as generally the first 2 Dungeon Siege, which is a pretty good title to be likened to. It's set in the rather unique North mythological setting with snowy mountains and quite vibrant environments, to be honest, and it has a full crafting system. I'm quite looking forward to playing it because I loved Legends of Arana so much. So come back next week and check out our review on Thursday of that. That's it from us at NextPowerUp. Join us next week on Thursday for our review and Saturday for our Next Week in Gaming article as well. As always, let us know what you've been playing in the comments section below. Join us next time. Thanks for watching.